Hello, folks. I just wanted to sit and have a visit, I think, for the most part, for many, many, many reasons. And you'll be hearing a lot of noise. My house is getting some construction done with our time of isolation and my son being home. So anyhow, what I wanted to talk about was resilience because if anybody took in the children's time today, we touched on resilience a little bit. Children have a little bit more of a natural instinct for resilience than perhaps adults do, number one. Number two, we think of people who are Pollyannish, which I've been accused of. Never been accused of being normal. Anyway, and other people who are a little bit more cynical, let's say. You would think perhaps Pollyannish is one that would be more resilient, or at least we think of it perhaps as that way. And that's not the case. It doesn't have a lot to do with personality, apparently. And so what I'm interested in is in my dental field, periodontal disease or gum disease is basically an autoimmune problem. And so it's our body that is on high alert, and certainly stress. You'll see stress in the mouth like no tomorrow. So along with that line, I can't remember the author's name, not Frederick, Eric. Anyway, he's now passed away, but he wrote about anxiety and anxiety in society. And he talks about the amygdala, I don't know how to say it, amygdala portion of the brain, which is our crocodile brain, our primitive brain, and how it's connected to our frontal brain. And so that is what decides, for the most part, who turns out to be resilient and who doesn't. So here's the thing, is we can retrain our brains just the way we can work a bicep. Well, we can build neurons in this area and get new highways plowed that will fire neurons much more quickly after practice in order to become more resilient. And so one of the ways to do that is exercise. So hello, we all know that, but just sharing it again. But the other neat one that I'm more triggered on today is I got thinking about Pete and Bessie, my parents, and all of their relatives and friends, my Aunt Martha, my Aunt Marge, and so on and so forth. And these people, the resilience I saw in them, and I think, okay, we are in this crisis, and I'm also reading about Duffy's regiment, which is my father's regiment in the Second World War. Resilience, resilience, resilience. I feel like such a weakling next to that. And that's not a judgment of myself or anyone else. But here's what I am wanting to focus on today. When I look at those people, Pete and Bessie and Aunt Marge and, Hilda and Jim and the people of my past that showed such resilience to me and for me to gather and to learn, I see one thing in common. You know what that is? They were stronger together. And of course, my reading, along with Duffy's regiment and the Second World War and all these tragedies, but with my reading, it is that people who have stronger social networks show less blood flow in their brain to their stressor areas, which causes us to become less resilient. And so you put someone in a lab with nobody with them and give them stressful images and their brain warms up in certain areas. You put a friend beside them and it doesn't. So strong social connections. So what I'm saying to you all is get your FaceTime out, get your Skyping out, get whatever it is that we can to connect one another and to remind each other and to stimulate one another in our brains for resilience by loving each other and being in community. So hit subscribe and become part of this community because we've got a lot of friends here and a big social network, and we're going to talk a lot about love and kindness. So cheers, and resilient be. And the children's segment was about opening your heart to others. And so here's a song for you, right? Someone's knocking at the door, somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door, somebody's ringing the bell. Do me a favor, open the door, and let 'em in, ooh yeah. So, open the door to your heart, open the door in the ways that we can to keep our social engagements strong as ever, our social attachments strong as ever. your body and your mind will thank you for it. Cheers. Blessed be.